You know that feeling, right? That electric hum in your brain when an idea finally clicks into place. It is not just a thought, it is a vision. A fully formed blueprint for something new, something better, something that just has to exist in the world. For me, that feeling arrived one crisp autumn morning, not in a sudden flash of brilliance, but as a slow, steady dawn breaking over a landscape of frustration. I had been wrestling with a particular problem in the digital marketing space for months. It was a common pain point, one that many businesses faced, but no one seemed to have cracked the code on a truly elegant solution. Most approaches were clunky, inefficient, or just plain expensive. I saw a gap, a gaping chasm really, where a simple, intuitive, and powerful tool could thrive. My initial concept, let us call it Project Phoenix for now, was born from countless late nights, fueled by cold coffee and an almost obsessive dedication. I dove deep into market research, talked to dozens of potential users, and sketched out user flows until my fingers cramped. Every detail felt important. The color palette, the button placement, the underlying algorithms. I was building not just a product, but an experience. An experience designed to empower small businesses to compete with the big players, to level the playing field, and to do it all with a smile. I envisioned a sleek interface, powerful analytics, and an automation engine that would practically run itself. It was going to be a game changer. I just knew it. The early days were a whirlwind of excitement and intense development. I brought on a small, incredibly talented team. We were a lean, mean, idea-generating machine, operating out of a cramped co-working space that smelled faintly of stale pizza and ambition. We celebrated every small victory, every line of code that compiled without error, every user test that brought a glimmer of approval. We were building something from the ground up, pouring our hearts and souls into it. There was a palpable energy in the room, a shared belief that we were on the cusp of something truly special. We worked around the clock, driven by a collective passion and the sheer thrill of creation. It was exhausting, yes, but also exhilarating beyond words. As Project Phoenix began to take shape, moving from abstract concepts to tangible prototypes, I knew it was time to start thinking about funding. We needed capital to scale, to hire more engineers, to launch properly. This meant pitching. And pitching meant sharing my dream, my meticulously crafted vision, with others. I was confident, perhaps a little too confident in retrospect, in the uniqueness and power of what we had built. I believed in the idea so completely that I thought its brilliance would speak for itself. I prepared my pitch deck with meticulous care, rehearsed my delivery countless times, and envisioned the future success of Project Phoenix with vivid clarity. One particular meeting stands out in my memory. It was with a fairly well-known venture capital firm, one that had a reputation for investing in disruptive tech. I was nervous, of course, but also buzzing with anticipation. I walked into their gleaming, minimalist conference room, the city skyline stretching out behind the floor-to-ceiling windows, and felt a surge of adrenaline. The partners, a trio of impeccably dressed individuals, listened intently as I walked them through every facet of Project Phoenix. I explained the problem, demonstrated our elegant solution, detailed the market opportunity, and laid out our ambitious but achievable growth strategy. I even shared some of our proprietary algorithms, the secret sauce that made our automation so effective. I felt a genuine connection, a sense that they understood the depth of our innovation. They asked insightful questions, showed genuine enthusiasm, and even offered some preliminary advice on scaling. The meeting ended on a high note, with promises of follow-up and a strong indication of interest. I left feeling on top of the world, convinced that this was the breakthrough we had been waiting for. The weeks that followed were a blur of negotiations, due diligence, and what felt like endless paperwork. We shared more detailed documentation, granted access to our beta test results, and even gave them a peek under the hood at some of our core architectural designs. It felt like a partnership was blossoming. They seemed genuinely invested, offering strategic insights and even connecting us with potential advisors. I truly believed we were on the verge of securing a significant investment, one that would propel Project Phoenix into the stratosphere. My team and I were already planning how we would expand, what new features we would develop, and how we would celebrate our impending success. The future looked incredibly bright. Then, the first hint of trouble appeared. A subtle shift in communication. Emails became less frequent. Phone calls went unreturned for longer periods. The initial enthusiasm seemed to wane, replaced by a vague sense of detachment. I attributed it to the nature of venture capital, the busy schedules, the multiple deals they were juggling. I tried not to worry, reminding myself that these things take time, but a persistent, nagging feeling began to settle in the pit of my stomach. It was a whisper of unease, a flicker of doubt in the back of my mind that I tried desperately to ignore. The whisper soon became a shout. One morning, a former colleague sent me a link to a news article. It was about a new startup, backed by a prominent VC firm, launching a revolutionary new digital marketing platform. My heart pounded as I clicked the link. The images on the page, the descriptions of their features, the core value proposition, it was Project Phoenix. Not just similar, not just inspired by, but almost an exact replica. The interface, the automation capabilities, even the unique dashboard layout. It was all there, thinly disguised with a different name, and expansion required significant investment and talent. We began recruiting top-tier data scientists, AI researchers, UX designers, and software engineers from around the world. Our reputation as an innovator, coupled with the compelling story of Phoenix 2, Zero's triumph, made us an incredibly attractive employer. We were able to cherry-pick the brightest minds, building an even stronger, more diverse team dedicated to pushing the boundaries of what was possible. Our labs buzzed with an energy that was almost palpable, a collective excitement about the future we were building. The market responded to these developments with enthusiasm. Investors saw the long-term potential of an integrated ecosystem, and our stock continued its upward trajectory. Existing customers, already delighted with Phoenix 2.0, eagerly adopted the new modules and integrations, further cementing their loyalty. New customers, seeing the comprehensive nature of our offering, chose us not just for a single feature, but for the promise of a complete, future-proof solution. We also began exploring strategic partnerships with leading technology companies, not just in marketing, but in adjacent fields like customer relationship management, supply chain optimization, and even product development. The idea was to leverage Phoenix 2, Zero's core intelligence to inform and enhance decision-making across the entire business value chain. Imagine using predictive analytics not just to forecast sales, but to optimize inventory levels, streamline logistics, and even guide the features of future products based on anticipated customer demand. The possibilities seemed endless. The initial theft, which had felt like such a devastating blow, now served as a constant reminder of the need for innovation and vigilance. It had inadvertently pushed us harder, forced us to dig deeper, and ultimately led us to create something far more profound and resilient than our original vision. Phoenix 2.0 was not just a product, it was a testament to the power of adversity, a symbol of rebirth from the ashes of betrayal. I often reflected on the individuals responsible for the theft. I wondered if they ever truly grasped the depth of their error. Did they understand that by attempting to steal our past, they had inadvertently forced us to build a future they could never hope to replicate? Did they feel the shame of their failure as their stolen product crumbled, or were they too consumed by their own hubris to acknowledge the truth? I never sought answers, nor did I dwell on vengeance. Our success was the only vindication we needed, a silent yet deafening roar that echoed across the industry. The company culture had also evolved. There was a renewed emphasis on transparency, trust, and mutual respect. We understood the importance of protecting our intellectual property, not just through legal means, but by fostering an environment where every employee felt valued and empowered to contribute their best. We implemented even more stringent security protocols, not out of paranoia, but out of a commitment to safeguarding the collective genius of our team. We also launched an internal innovation incubator, encouraging employees to pursue their own passion projects, allocating resources and mentorship to promising ideas. This fostered a culture of continuous learning and experimentation, ensuring that we would always remain at the forefront of technological advancement. We understood that true innovation was not a one-time event, but an ongoing process, a relentless pursuit of improvement and discovery. The journey of Phoenix 2.0 was a testament to the fact that while ideas can be stolen, the spirit of innovation, the dedication of a team, and the relentless pursuit of excellence cannot. These were the true proprietary assets, the intangible qualities that no competitor, no matter how well-funded or unscrupulous, could ever hope to replicate. We had not just built a product, we had built a legacy, one brick of ingenuity and integrity at a time. And as I looked out at the bustling offices, the vibrant teams collaborating, and the screens displaying live metrics of our ever-growing impact, I knew this was just the beginning. The Phoenix had truly risen, and its flight was only just commencing. The sky was not the limit. It was merely the starting point for our next ascent, a slightly altered color scheme. The VC firm backing them was the very same one I had been pitching to. The shock was visceral. It felt like a punch to the gut, a cold, hard slap across the face. My blood ran cold, then boiled with a furious heat. Betrayal. That was the only word that came to mind. They had not just passed on our project, they had stolen it. They had taken our proprietary information, our meticulously developed algorithms, our entire vision, and handed it to another team to execute. The audacity, the sheer brazenness of it, left me speechless. I stared at the screen, my mind reeling, trying to process the enormity of what had happened. My dream, my team's hard work, our future, all of it, snatched away in an instant. The initial days after that discovery were a blur of anger and despair. I felt utterly violated, creatively stripped bare. The passion that had fueled me for so long turned into a bitter resentment. My team was devastated. We had poured everything into Project Phoenix, sacrificed so much, only to see it appear under a different banner, backed by the very people we had trusted. The co-working space, once a hub of vibrant energy, became a somber place. Conversations were hushed, morale plummeted, and the air was thick with a sense of defeat. We explored legal options, of course, but the legal landscape for intellectual property in such cases is notoriously complex and expensive, especially when you are up against a well-funded firm. The odds felt stacked against us. There were moments, many of them, when I felt like giving up. The thought of starting over, of trying to rekindle that creative spark after such a crushing blow, seemed impossible. The emotional toll was immense. I questioned everything. My judgment, my ability to lead, even my passion for entrepreneurship. Was it all just a naive dream that had been brutally shattered by the harsh realities of the business world? I spent days staring blankly at my computer screen, unable to focus, unable to find the motivation to do anything productive. The joy had been sucked out of the process, leaving behind only a hollow ache. But then, slowly, almost imperceptibly, something began to shift within me. It started with a flicker of defiance, a tiny spark in the ashes of my frustration. I remembered why I started Project Phoenix in the first place, to solve a real problem, to empower businesses. The core idea was still valid, still powerful. The theft had not invalidated the need, it had only complicated our path to fulfilling it. I realized that wallowing in anger, while understandable, was not going to get us anywhere. It was a destructive emotion, consuming energy that could be better spent. One evening, after another particularly bleak day, I found myself pacing my small apartment, the city lights a blur outside my window. I stopped at my whiteboard, still covered with remnants of Project Phoenix brainstorms. I stared at the diagrams, the feature lists, the user stories. And then, a thought struck me with surprising clarity. They had stolen our idea, yes, but they had not stolen our ingenuity. They had not stolen our passion. And most importantly, They had not stolen our ability to innovate. In fact, by launching their inferior copy, they had actually given us a new target, a new benchmark to surpass. That was the turning point. It was a moment of profound realization, a shift from victimhood to strategic determination. My anger began to transmute into a steely resolve. I would not just rebuild Project Phoenix. I would not just recreate what they had stolen. I would build something so fundamentally superior, so undeniably innovative, that their stolen version would be rendered obsolete. This would not be about revenge in a petty sense, but about proving a point. A point about true innovation, about ethical business practices, and about the enduring power of a truly original vision. This was going to be my innovation revenge, not born of malice, but of a fierce desire to see justice in a business sense prevail. The next morning, I called an emergency meeting with my team. The mood was still heavy, but I walked in with a newfound sense of purpose. I looked at their tired faces, the lingering disappointment in their eyes, and I knew I had to reignite that spark. I laid it all out for them, not dwelling on the injustice, but focusing on the path forward. I told them we had two choices. We could pack it in, lick our wounds, and let this injustice define us. Or we could rise from the ashes, stronger, smarter, and more determined than ever before. I looked each of them in the eye and said, and I remember these exact words, "We are not just going to beat them. We are going to embarrass them with our brilliance. We are going to build the Project Phoenix that they could only ever dream of." There was a moment of silence, a collective holding of breath. Then, slowly, a flicker of hope appeared in their eyes. A nod here, a determined set of a jaw there. I saw the spark return. We were in this together. We were a team, and we were not going to be defeated by someone else's unethical shortcuts. This was a new chapter, a new mission. We would call our new venture Project Phoenix 2.0, symbolizing not just a sequel, but a rebirth, an evolution. Our first step was a deep dive analysis of the competitor's stolen product. We treated it like a hostile intelligence operation. We signed up for their beta, studied their marketing materials, and meticulously dissected every feature. What were its strengths? What were its weaknesses? Where had they cut corners? Where had they misunderstood the nuances of our original vision? We found plenty of flaws, predictable ones, given they had copied without truly understanding the underlying philosophy. They had the shell but not the soul. Their user experience was clunky, their automation was less intelligent, and their analytics, while present, lacked the insightful depth we had meticulously engineered. They had quantity, but we had quality. This analysis became our roadmap. It showed us exactly where the gaps were, where we could not only improve, but fundamentally differentiate ourselves. We realized that our initial concept, while strong, still had room for growth. The theft, painful as it was, forced us to look at our idea with fresh eyes, to push beyond our original boundaries. It forced us to innovate under pressure, to think strategically about how to build an unassailable lead. We were no longer just building a product, we were building a counter-product, designed to highlight the deficiencies of the copycat and showcase our genuine superiority. The core innovation for Phoenix 2.0 became about hyper-personalization and predictive analytics. While their stolen version offered generic automation, we envisioned a system that could learn and adapt to each individual business, almost like an AI-powered marketing assistant. We wanted to move beyond simple, rule-based automation to truly intelligent, self-optimizing campaigns. This meant a complete overhaul of our data architecture, a deeper integration of machine learning algorithms, and a focus on user experience that felt less like a tool and more like a trusted partner. We also identified a crucial unmet need in the market: seamless integration with a wider ecosystem of business tools. Our competitor offered limited integrations, creating frustrating silos for users. We decided Phoenix 2.0 would be an open platform designed to play nicely with everything else a business might use. This new direction required a significant leap in technological complexity. We were essentially building a smarter, more adaptable brain for our platform. It meant more research, more experimentation, and more late nights. But this time, the late nights were fueled by a different kind of energy, a potent mix of determination and creative excitement. We were not just rebuilding, we were transcending. We were taking the very essence of our original idea and elevating it to an entirely new level. The team embraced the challenge with renewed vigor. There was a shared sense of mission, a collective desire to prove that true innovation cannot be stolen, only temporarily delayed. We began to attract new talent, developers and data scientists who were intrigued by our story and excited by the ambition of Phoenix 2.0. Our pitch was different this time. It was not just about a great product, but about a compelling narrative of resilience and superior innovation. We spoke openly about the theft, not as a lament, but as a catalyst for something even greater. This transparency resonated with people, drawing in those who valued integrity and genuine ingenuity. Our small, cramped co-working space suddenly felt vibrant again, filled with the hum of keyboards and the excited chatter of brilliant minds collaborating. The development process for Phoenix 2.0 was intense, far more demanding than the first iteration. We were pushing the boundaries of what was technically feasible, exploring new AI models and designing entirely new data pipelines. There were moments of frustration, certainly. Bugs that seemed insurmountable, algorithms that refused to cooperate, and the constant pressure of knowing our competitor was already in the market with their inferior version. But each hurdle we overcame, each breakthrough we achieved, only strengthened our resolve. We were building something truly unique, something that solved problems in ways no one else had even considered. We paid meticulous attention to the user experience. We understood that powerful technology, if not presented intuitively, is useless. So we brought in UX designers who were absolute masters of their craft. We conducted extensive user testing, iterating constantly, refining every click, every visual element, every interaction. We wanted Phoenix 2.0 to feel effortless, even magical for the end user. The dashboard in particular underwent a radical transformation. It was no longer just a display of data, but an interactive storytelling tool, guiding users through insights and suggesting actionable steps based on predictive analysis. Simultaneously, we began to craft our new marketing and branding strategy. This was crucial. We could not just launch another digital marketing platform. We had to tell our story, not just about the product, but about the journey. Our brand identity for Phoenix 2.0 was built around themes of resilience, authenticity, and cutting-edge intelligence. We positioned ourselves not just as a tool, but as a strategic partner for businesses looking to truly innovate in their marketing efforts. We decided to be unapologetically bold, to subtly but clearly highlight the difference between genuine innovation and mere imitation. Our tagline captured this spirit: Phoenix 2.0 reborn, redefined, unstoppable. We carefully planned our launch strategy, focusing on generating buzz and anticipation. We engaged with key industry influencers, shared sneak peeks of our revolutionary features, and built a waiting list that grew longer by the day. We knew we would only get one shot at making a splash, and we intended to make it count. We prepared case studies, testimonials, and detailed demonstrations that would leave no doubt about the superiority of Phoenix 2.0. This was not just a product launch. It was a statement, a declaration that integrity and genuine innovation would ultimately prevail. The day of the launch arrived with a mix of nervous energy and exhilarating anticipation. We had worked tirelessly for months, and now it was time to unleash Phoenix 2.0 upon the world. We held a virtual launch event, showcasing the platform's incredible capabilities, demonstrating its intuitive interface, and highlighting the powerful personalization and predictive analytics that set it apart. I spoke passionately about our journey, about the challenges we had faced, and about our unwavering commitment to building the best possible solution for businesses. I did not explicitly name our competitor, but the subtext was clear. We were the originals, and this was our magnificent return. The initial reception was beyond our wildest expectations. The industry press, already aware of the similar product in the market, quickly picked up on the story of Phoenix 2.0. They recognized the stark difference in quality and innovation. Reviews poured in, praising our platform's sophistication, ease of use, and unparalleled results. Users raved about the intelligent automation, the actionable insights, and the seamless integrations. Many of them had tried our competitor's product, and their feedback was consistently clear. Phoenix 2.0 was in a league of its own. It was not just better, it was fundamentally different, offering a level of intelligence and adaptability that their stolen version simply could not match. The comparison was inevitable, and it worked entirely in our favor. Analysts and tech journalists meticulously compared Phoenix 2.0 with the copycat product, systematically highlighting every area where we excelled. Our predictive analytics, for instance, were able to forecast campaign performance with astonishing accuracy, allowing businesses to optimize their strategies proactively. The competitor's version, by contrast, offered only retrospective data, forcing users to react to past results rather than anticipate future trends. Our hyper-personalization engine dynamically adjusted marketing messages based on individual customer behavior, leading to significantly higher engagement rates. Their system, while offering some segmentation, lacked the granular, real-time adaptability that truly set us apart. Their system, while offering some segmentation, lacked the granular, real-time adaptability that allowed Phoenix 2.0 to essentially have a one-on-one conversation with millions of customers simultaneously, each message tailored to their immediate context and predicted needs. Our integrated feedback loops, another cornerstone of Phoenix 2.0, continuously learned from every interaction, refining algorithms and improving performance with each data point. The competitor's offering required manual data input and periodic updates, a slow and cumbersome process that made it inherently reactive and quickly obsolete in a fast-moving digital landscape. Even their user interface, which at first glance seemed superficially similar to our original design, proved clunky and unintuitive upon deeper inspection, a testament to the fact that stealing the blueprint does not grant an understanding of the underlying architecture or the design philosophy. Our UI, meticulously crafted through hundreds of user tests and iterations, was lauded for its elegance, efficiency, and sheer joy of use. It felt like an extension of the user's thought process, not a tool to be wrestled with. The chasm between Phoenix 2.0 and the stolen imitation widened with each passing week. The initial buzz around the competitor's launch, fueled by their aggressive marketing and lower pricing, quickly dissipated as real-world performance metrics began to emerge. Businesses that had initially jumped ship, lured by the promise of a cheaper alternative, found themselves struggling. Their campaigns underperformed, their customer engagement plummeted, and their return on investment evaporated. The narrative shifted from a price point comparison to a stark quality assessment. It was no longer about who was first to market or who was cheaper, but about who delivered actual, measurable results. The tech press, initially cautious, then curious, became outright evangelical about Phoenix 2.0. Major publications ran feature articles dissecting the technological marvel we had created. Industry analysts, some of whom had initially expressed concern about the market dilution caused by the copycat, now issued glowing reports, upgrading our stock outlook and positioning us as the undisputed leader in the AI-driven marketing space. Our market share began to climb steadily, fueled by a wave of new sign-ups, and, perhaps more tellingly, a significant number of returning customers who had experienced the competitor's inadequacy firsthand. I remember one particular article, penned by a notoriously cynical tech journalist, that truly captured the essence of our triumph. The headline read, "Genius Uncloned," referring to the competitor's inability to replicate the true intelligence of Phoenix 2.0. The article detailed how our system's neural networks, trained on an exponentially larger and more diverse dataset, possessed a level of nuanced understanding that was simply beyond the reach of a hastily reverse-engineered product. It highlighted our proprietary algorithms for natural language generation, which could craft marketing copy so compelling and human-like that it was indistinguishable from the work of a seasoned copywriter, yet scalable to millions of unique variations. The competitor, by contrast, relied on a more rudimentary template-based system that often produced robotic or nonsensical text, leading to a palpable drop in brand perception for its users. The public perception of the competitor once bolstered by the initial hype, began to unravel. Social media, a double-edged sword, turned against them. Users shared screenshots of their poorly performing campaigns, highlighted the competitor's clunky interface, and openly questioned the integrity of a product that so clearly failed to deliver on its promises. Online forums dedicated to marketing technology became a battleground of frustrations, with former users recounting their costly mistakes and new users being warned away. The competitor's customer support, overwhelmed by a flood of complaints and lacking the deep technical understanding required to address fundamental product flaws, became a source of further ridicule. Meanwhile, our own customer success stories became legendary. Small businesses reported unprecedented growth, medium-sized enterprises saw their conversion rates double, and large corporations lauded the efficiency and precision Phoenix 2.0 brought to their global campaigns. Testimonials poured in, unsolicited and heartfelt, painting a picture of a product that not only met expectations but consistently exceeded them. We compiled these stories into case studies, not for aggressive marketing, but as a genuine celebration of our customers' success, a testament to the power of true innovation. The financial markets responded enthusiastically. Our stock price, which had taken an initial dip during the competitor's launch scare, surged to new highs, reflecting renewed investor confidence and the clear validation of our technological superiority. Analysts revised their growth forecasts upwards, projecting a dominant market position for years to come. We were no longer just a promising startup. We were a market leader, a benchmark against which all others would be measured. Internally, the mood was one of immense relief, pride, and renewed purpose. The team, which had worked tirelessly through the initial shock and the intense development cycle of Phoenix 2.0, felt a profound sense of vindication. Late nights, stressful deadlines, and the gnawing anxiety of potential failure had all been replaced by the sweet taste of success. There were celebratory dinners, team retreats, and a palpable sense of camaraderie that had been forged in the crucible of adversity. We knew we had not just built a better product. We had defended our intellectual property, upheld our values, and demonstrated the unwavering spirit of innovation that defined us. I remember standing in front of the entire company, delivering a speech that I had rehearsed 100 times in my head, yet found myself speaking from the heart. I looked out at the faces of my colleagues, each one a vital part of this incredible journey, and saw a mixture of exhaustion and exhilaration. I spoke of the challenges we had faced, the betrayal we had endured, and the unwavering belief we had in our vision. I emphasized that Phoenix 2.0 was not just a product, it was a symbol of resilience, a testament to the fact that true innovation cannot be stolen, only temporarily imitated. The applause that followed was deafening, a collective roar of triumph that echoed through the halls of our headquarters. What of the competitor? Their decline was as swift as it was spectacular. Facing mounting criticism, plummeting sales, and a rapidly eroding reputation, they attempted a desperate pivot. They tried to rebrand, to claim their product was merely a stepping stone to a new, more advanced offering. But the damage was done. The market had spoken, and it had rejected their fraudulent claims. Their investors, seeing the writing on the wall, began to pull out. Key employees, disillusioned and demoralized, started to leave in droves, seeking refuge in companies that valued genuine innovation and ethical practices. Rumors circulated about internal strife, executive resignations, and the very real possibility of bankruptcy. The initial legal threats they had made against us, claiming our accusations were baseless, vanished into thin air. They had no legal standing, no moral high ground, and now, no viable product. The irony was not lost on us. A company built on the theft of another's intellectual property ultimately imploded under the weight of its own dishonesty and inadequacy. It was a stark reminder that while shortcuts might offer temporary gains, true success is built on a foundation of integrity, hard work, and genuine creativity. We, however, chose not to gloat. Our focus remained squarely on the future. The experience, while painful, had taught us invaluable lessons. It had reinforced the importance of robust intellectual property protection, of staying ahead of the curve, and of never resting on our laurels. We doubled down on research and development, pouring resources into exploring the next generation of AI capabilities, quantum computing applications for predictive modeling, and even more sophisticated hyper-personalization techniques. We expanded our global footprint, opening new offices in key markets, and tailoring Phoenix 2.0 to meet the unique cultural and linguistic nuances of diverse customer bases. Our commitment to ethical AI also deepened. The incident highlighted the potential for misuse and the importance of responsible development. We established an internal AI ethics board composed of leading experts in the field to ensure that Phoenix 2.0 continued to evolve in a way that was fair, transparent, and beneficial to society. We understood that with great power came great responsibility, and we were determined to wield that power wisely. The original theft, while never explicitly confirmed by the authorities or publicly detailed by us beyond vague allusions to IP infringement, became an unspoken legend within the company. It was a scar, but also a badge of honor. It reminded us of the fragility of innovation and the constant need for vigilance. It also fostered a deeper sense of unity and shared purpose among the team. We had faced an existential threat and emerged stronger, wiser, and more determined than ever. The success of Phoenix 2.0 wasn't just about market dominance or financial gain. It was about reclaiming our narrative. It was about proving that integrity and innovation ultimately prevail. It was about demonstrating that creativity cannot be contained or replicated by mere imitation. Our product spoke for itself, loud and clear, silencing the detractors and vindicating the tireless efforts of every individual who had poured their heart and soul into its creation. Looking back, the entire episode, from the initial shock of betrayal to the triumphant launch of Phoenix 2.0, felt like a crucible. It tested our resolve, pushed our limits, and ultimately forged us into a stronger, more resilient company. The crisis, rather than destroying us, had inadvertently become the catalyst for our greatest leap forward. We had not just recovered, we had transcended. We had taken the ashes of a stolen dream and built a phoenix that truly soared, untouchable and unparalleled. The journey was far from over, but the path ahead was clear, illuminated by the bright, unyielding glow of our own innovation. Our next phase involved not just refining Phoenix 2.0, but expanding its ecosystem. We began developing a suite of complementary tools and integrations, transforming Phoenix 2.0 from a powerful platform into a comprehensive operating system for digital marketing and customer engagement. This included an advanced analytics dashboard that provided real-time, granular insights into every aspect of a campaign, allowing users to make instantaneous, data-driven adjustments. We also introduced a robust API that enabled seamless integration with other enterprise systems, from CRM platforms to e-commerce engines, creating a truly unified customer journey experience. The concept of a Phoenix OS, as we internally called it, was to create a holistic environment where every touchpoint with a customer was optimized, personalized, and intelligently managed. This went far beyond just marketing messages. It encompassed customer service interactions, product recommendations, post-purchase follow-ups, and even proactive problem resolution. Imagine a system that could anticipate a customer's need for support before they even realized it, or recommend a complementary product with such precision that it felt like magic. That was the vision. This